I'm going to be talking today about another bouldery 12 that I led in the Nears, which I kind of led on accident. I actually went to the Nears. This is going to be kind of a whiny story. I actually went to the Nears this day, and I felt terrible. I didn't feel sick or anything like that, but I just felt really tired. I was kind of like, I had been doing a lot of intense leading up to this day, and I went to the Nears originally with the intention of doing this route Bird Brain, which is a 12AR, essentially an easier version of a route that I had already led called Slammin', which is a 12BR. One of the cruxes, they basically crisscross up the wall, and one of the cruxes of Slammin' is the crux of Bird Brain. So I knew that since I had the crux style, that it would be kind of an easy 12A tick. And I got there to the cliff. I basically already had all the gear sussed, and all I had to do was really talk myself into going for the lead, and I really had to. Like, it was I was just not feeling it. I was not mentally in a space, not in a good space. I didn't particularly like the route Slammin', which people really rave about. As a result of that, I didn't particularly like the idea of leading the easier variation of it. But I felt like I had to, because it's a climb on the workout wall, and you got to lead the whole workout wall, right? So I really talked myself into it. I place all this gear. I do the run out through the crux. I get up to the next piece of gear, and I'm in a really delicate stance. I'm balanced into the wall with basically two thumb catches, and I'm fiddling in some gear for the final crux. And I actually feel good at this point, right? I've done all the hard climbing. I have one easy 511, maybe 11A or B crux above me. Not so well protected, but easier than the rest of the route. So I'm in a stance. I know all I have to do is recover, fire the last crux, and then I never have to touch either of these two routes ever again. And place my gear, and as I go to climb past it, I notice that it's wiggling out of place, right? And it was a red alien, which I'll show you right now. It was this piece, which is very old now. And as I climb past it, I start to kind of sneak out of the crack. And I thought that was weird. I down climbed, and I looked at it, and I realized that one of the lobes had essentially locked like this as it went into the crack. Maybe one of the trigger wires hit a pebble or something like that, but it was basically not functioning, right? This is not a cam. This is now just a loose piece of metal crack. So I was fiddling with it in this delicate stance. It was kind of down by my waist. I'm messing with it. I thought I got it unstuck and gave it a good yank. And once I yanked on it, I took this unbelievably melodramatic fall, which in my head felt like the worst fall I've ever taken.
Oh, how could I do that? Oh no.
It was an even better fall than falling on top rope. The gear was at my waist. And it was so heartbreaking because I really had to talk myself into leading this thing, and now I blew it basically in the easy part because my cam malfunctioned. After that fall on Bird Brain, I was so disgusted with myself that I pulled the rope, and I was like, I'm done climbing. One of my friends, Reed, is pretty much psyched to try everything. He's like, oh, let me drop we had a couple friends climbing on To Be or Not To Be, which is a really popular, super classic route there in the Nears. And he's like, oh, let me drop this rope on Farewell to Fingers, which I had actually tried before. What's funny is I got sandbagged on this route by the guidebook. The guidebook describes the line about 20 feet to the right of where it actually should be. And it mentions that there was an old bolt that was chopped. And I was never able to find the bolt scar. I probably put 2 or 3 sessions on this, what I thought was a 12A. And it felt impossible. It felt impossible to do. It was dirty and mossy, and there were no feet. The holes were okay, but literally no feet on this blank slab. Could not find the bolt. And I think I think a week before this, I actually found the bolt 20 feet to the left of where it's mentioned in the guide, and then it made perfect sense. I could like see the line up the wall. So Reed dropped a top rope on it. I gave it a burn, and I was able to do it with one fall, and I just went for the lead right after that. See here in this clip that I placed gear on this horizontal. This is a yellow, absolutely textbook yellow dragonfly that I clipped short. The crux is basically the few moves after this. So I knew that I would actually be protected, though I'd get very close to the ground. It wouldn't be a very far fall, and I would actually be protected for these couple moves. So reaching up to this right hand, and when you bring the left foot in, and then you get the left hand out to reach the left hand higher, this is a very like tensiony, in kind of intense move where the feet are very small and it feels like you can kind of blow it at any moment. Once I stuck this left hand, I knew it was over, even though the traverse to the right and the next piece of gear was still maybe 15 feet out from where you're climbing. You're climbing into ground fall. The climbing drops down to maybe mid 11ish at that point. So that's all there really is to say about the route. It's another bouldery 12. I promise I've actually climbed a lot of the sustained, more classic routes. The problem is that I didn't think to create this channel until after I had already done them. So I need to go back and kind of get pictures of gear, and maybe I'll take some videos of sections or whatever it is. So it's not just voiceover like this, voiceover of my old cell phone footage. But yeah, I mean, there's not much more to say about it. Once you stick to boulder problem and get the leg up, it's 5'8" to the top from there. So it's very, very easy. I don't recommend that anybody try this route. It's very low quality. It's something that to me, it's on the workout wall. So again, I had to lead it, and I kind of took it as a consolation prize for my absolutely mentally horrible fall on Bird Brain. Still, I was psyched to do a line that I previously thought was impossible, but really it was just impossible because I was on the wrong line, and that's kind of it.